Hi, Ethan. This is a review of your lesson from September 15th, 2023. And in this lesson, we did a lot of review just to get the fingers warmed up with starting with the scale. So we're going to go ahead and start with the scale. And remember, one of the things that we were working on was not playing so far down on your fingers that you're almost like to this joint down here. You were kind of playing almost so far in that you were just not really playing in the best location, especially because sometimes that C finger was rolling off of the hole, if you remember that. To prevent that, it's nicer if we can be a little bit closer to the tips of our fingers, not exactly on the tips, but closer than you were. So remember how I said we're going to calibrate where your finger placement should be based on the pinky down here, the pinky finger of the bottom hand. So I want you to take the right pinky finger, put it on that A hole down there, that bottom hole, right? Kind of get it on there, and then put the other fingers in a place that's comfortable, okay? If this is uncomfortable, that's not good. We want it to be somewhat comfortable, but we don't want it to be super far like that. Say somewhere in there, maybe like that, maybe even if possible. Getting, close-ish to the fingertips there, all right? But somewhere between here and here. So try that. Okay, let's get a low G sound check, you and me. And my chanter is very, very soft, so I'm going to make it a little louder for you. How about this low G? I think you can hear that. Low G. So what we're going to do is a scale, okay? We're going to do it on my count. Follow me. Ready? Starting on low G. 1, 2. Okay, making sure that when you are on the top hand notes, right, these top hand notes, the pinky finger is off, okay? In some instances during your last lesson, this finger was kind of wanting to hang out down here. We don't want that. So let's try this again and make sure the pinky finger is off when you get to the high notes. Low G sound check, ready? Okay, here we go, another scale. 1, 2. Right, great. Next, what I want you to do is pause the video and play the scale while you're looking at your music for the scale, all right? I want you to pause the video and look at the music for the scale and follow it. Low G, A, B, C, D, E, F, high G, high A, and then back down, okay? So take a moment to do that. Okay, the next thing I want you to work on, this is all part of your warm-up, right? Is the 5 grace note exercise, okay? And that's where we do that rhythm of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 for the grace notes, right? And it's the big 4. It's the G grace note, the F grace note, the E grace note, and the D grace note, okay? And remember, we're listening. When we're doing this exercise, the whole point is to get the little sound, the blip sound that the grace note makes, the same, okay? So you're listening for that the whole time. Let's play it on low G again, where everything's covered. So let's do a sound check. Okay, I'm going to give the count, and we're going to start playing the like that. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2. Okay, there's 4 of them in a row, 4 sets. Only you know how your grace notes sound. I can't hear you. I need you to pause the video, do that on your own, and just listen to your own grace notes and see if you think they are nice and consistent. Blip, 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 right? All right, so that's a good thing to do on your own. Okay, now that you've done the 5 raised note exercise a bunch, you should be ready for the lesson. And what we're going to do is focus on the tune Amazing Grace. And Amazing Grace, I gave you the sheet music for it at your last lesson. Your version does not have all these highlights in here, but I did write some stuff down on your music. I wrote the names of the notes, okay? I think on yours I wrote low A for this first note, and then D, and then I called this a D strike, which is new. And then there's an F. This, of course, these are G grace notes, right? All these guys are G grace notes. But here's F, E, D. Here's another F, an E, a D throw, which is a new thing for you, and a B. Okay, and notice all the grace notes are high G grace notes. All right, so take a look at your music, and you might even one of these times playing through this video, get a highlighter. Ask your parents, see if you can get a highlighter and go ahead and highlight the G grace notes, just those. But for now, here's what we have. And before we start the tune, we're going to review the 3 new doublings. There's actually 4 new ones, but we're going to do the 3. One was called the D strike, one was called the D throw, and do you remember the last one? High A doubling. Those were the 3 we talked about in the lesson. Here is a D strike. It starts on a D. It's a G grace note on D, C grace note on D. I want you to say D strike. Okay, here's what we're playing. So let's get ready. We're going to have our fingers in the D position. So we're already on D. All right, there's D. Get your fingers like mine. Let's do a sound check on the D. Okay, keep your fingers like that. You're going to lift your G finger and bring it down. That's your G grace note. And then you're going to tap down your D finger, which makes a C, and then bring it right back up. So it's going to go like this. Let's do it together. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now, if your grace notes, the G grace note and the C grace note don't sound like mine, you want to pause the video and work on making them blip, 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 blip. Listen. You hear the little blip sound? It's easy to hear this. That one, right? This one is a tap, but it's a grace note. It's a C, a short C grace note, and we go right back to D. It's so I want you to start hearing that. If you want to pause the video now, try some on your own. That would be good. These are D strikes that we're working on, right? Remember, in the music, they look like this. Where it says D strike, I want you to find this on your music and look at it. There's the G grace note to D, C grace note to D, and we're landing on a D. That's why it's called a D strike. Okay, so that's the D strike. The other new embellishment that you learn, new doubling, is called a D throw. It's different from the D strike. The biggest difference about a D throw is it starts on low G. Look at that. It starts on low G. I think on your music, we drew the little circle. This is not really a circle, right? We made that bigger. So I'm going to do that on mine right now. I want you to look at your D throw on your music, okay? Okay, so now I just made her kind of big. See that? See how that's a low G? So no matter what note we're coming from before the D throw starts on a low G. And then it's a D grace note to C landing on D. Here's how it goes. We're going to get in the low G position. Let's do a low G sound check. Remember, check your finger placement. Make sure that you're not playing super duper far on your knuckles, right? Okay. Low G sound check. Ready? Okay, so here we're going to go like this. Right? Again, low G. See that? So it's low G, D, C, D. I want you to do that just to my words. I'm not going to play with you. So I want you to play a low G now. Go to D, touch your D finger down, which makes a C, back up. Do it again. Low G, D, C, D. Again. Low G, D, C, D. Again. Low G, D, C, D. I want you to be playing while I'm saying that. Now again, why are we doing it that way? Because that's what the music says. Look at the D throw. Low G, D, C, landing on D. Now, yes, these notes are grace notes and they will be played faster than what we're doing right now. But I want you to get the hang of that motion. Low G, D, C, D, like this. Okay? So I want you to pause the video and try that on your own, playing low G, D, C, D, like this. On your own, okay? If it gets confusing, look at the music or go back to the video. Okay, so you have been doing some D throw practice. They're not particularly easy when it's brand new, but it will get easier, okay? One of the things I want you to try, this is a challenge, so you might not be ready for this the first several days that you do this lesson, but when we get further into it, you will be ready. If you look at the music, see where the D throw is way over here? We're looking way back over here. See the D throw? See what note it's coming from? What is that? It's an E. I labeled it, right? E. And then we go down to the low G to play the D throw. So what we're going to do now, again, this is advanced, so if you're not ready for this, don't worry about it. But when you are, do it. Maybe, second week into this lesson, repeating this lesson. E, and then a D throw. Here's how that'll be. We're going to get our fingers ready. Okay, and we're going to play an E. There's E, pinky off on the bottom hand, ring finger off on the top hand. And we're going to play E, and then we're going to go down to low G and play the D throw like this. Copy me. So that last part was just a D throw. That's the D throw part, but the E that comes before it is here. Let's do it again. A D throw from E. Again, D throw starting on E. Again. All right. If that's difficult, go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own or skip it until you're ready. The last thing that I want to go over is the high A doubling. And the high A doubling shows up in the tune way down about halfway through, okay? There it is. See that? For you, I wrote it out on your practice sheet, on your exercise sheet. So you need to look at that if you want to see it. Or you can look at it on the sheet music if you have your copy available, which you should have. Okay, so you see that high A doubling. See that? The first note of it is a high A. We play a very short G and go right back to high A. This doubling is the one where we just slide the thumb across that hole back there, right? We go, that's it. That's it. So we're going to practice the high A doubling now. Ready? 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. The key here is to blow the chanter while the high A, you're in the high A position. Then slide the thumb across the hole, right? I want you to try those on your own a bunch. Once those 3 doublings are reviewed and somewhat comfortable, I want you to go to the second part of this lesson on the next video, which will be the first bar of Amazing Grace.